right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Light the Torch podcast. I'm your host, B. Jones, and I got my guys with me. Bottom right, we got my man Guns. Bottom left, we got my man Raul. And we got Trojan famous Blackie Chan to my left. I know he's that. Guys, excuse me. I know I'm wearing my Rams gear today. Just got home from the game, like literally just got home. Trying to fight the traffic to get here. That's why we a little bit delayed, man. So I apologize for that. But yeah, man, we got a show obviously today because once again we had one of those wins that was not very pretty. I'll try to dial back a little bit on the rants tonight, but yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about once again, unfortunately. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead and get into it, man. How you guys feeling tonight?
Hey, feeling good. We're still 6-0. I mean, that's
6-0,
you know,
man.
at the end of the day, obviously there's some things we'll talk about, but yeah.
We could be like Miami fans and Notre Dame fans right now.
Oof.
I'm just like my header says, just keep winning. So
speaking of Notre Dame, I don't know if you guys. I don't want to go ahead into it since this is obviously our post game reaction, but we are underdogs to start off according to the spread. So as gamblers out there, just a heads up there. So
I don't blame the gamblers though. So
well, that should be a little motivation. I mean,
there should be a lot of motivation, but
yeah,
we'll get into that.
It's like, you hear that, Grinch? That's specifically towards you.
Well, speaking of, since we brought up Grinch and the defense, shout out to Bear Alexander. I happened to run into him at the Rams game today, and you guys, if you get a chance, man, everybody go out there and wish Bear a happy birthday. It was his birthday this past weekend.
What is he, 20?
I would like to think so. I didn't ask the man, but somewhere around there. But yeah, man. So make sure you guys go ahead and show Bear some love, man, because we definitely can't blame anything on him. So he deserves the love. But yeah, man, let's get into this, man. It's a lot to go. All right, what we got? First quarter, man. Go ahead and read it off, Blackie Chan.
We got offensive reactions and grades.
Whew. Well, the good thing is, we don't do instant reactions because we probably would be kicked off of YouTube if leaving it to me. Because boy, oh boy, I was not very happy after watching that game, man, and then rewatching it and got even more upset. So, so go ahead, give us your offensive reaction, Guns, and your grade.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, the only thing I'm gonna kind of talk about for the offense is the wide receivers. I know we praise Taz and Brendan a lot, but I feel like they don't create separation a lot or easy. It seems like we have to have Caleb kind of move out, right, and get those unscripted plays, and then we get those yardage most of the time or half of the time. I mean, Singer didn't get a catch. Maybe that was their game plan going into this game. Obviously, they are a well known defensive team in terms of passing. Obviously, we know the prior week with Washington didn't give up any touchdowns to Penix. But that's just kind of concern for me that I'm kind of looking into the second half because obviously we have some big teams going into the last 6 games. But at the end of the day, Caleb won us the game. Just glad we have this guy with us on our team because that would be definitely interesting to see what it would be like if it wasn't wasn't him on this team basically. Obviously, the game plan the game script, going down 17 didn't help with the running game with Marshawn Lloyd, but good to see him getting still 15 carries. And then kind of my grade, I would say B-.
Okay, that's fair. What about you, Raul? What you got?
I thought that the offense played terrible yesterday. I mean, I guess basing it off of like what we believe they're capable of, right? I mean, we got the current, Heisman Trophy winner, Caleb Williams. And, we got an offensive-minded coach, Lincoln Riley. And I just feel like these last couple of weeks, like the offense kind of, hit a stall. Like for some reason, whatever plays that Lincoln Riley's drawing up, somehow the defensive coordinator or the opposing defensive coordinator somehow are like they're either reading something out, we're showing our cards or something, but we haven't looked good offensively. The offensive line's been um, iffy, I would say. Like they're allowing a lot of penetration. I think I was at the game yesterday, so I think they allowed a few sacks. I can't recall the exact number, but we gave up a few sacks, which I'm hoping that coming up these upcoming weeks, we can figure that out, especially starting next week at Notre Dame. Wide receivers, kind of what Gunnar mentioned. They're either not creating separation or it's just a play called. But a lot of the time yesterday from what I remember, Caleb Williams had to scramble and figure out something. And I think that's what bailed us a lot. And, there was a few plays towards the end of the game where there's like a roughing the passer that when we were like 1st and 20, that kind of bailed us out for a little bit at the end. So I would have to give the offensive grade of like a C, just a passing grade because we won. But, I don't think they deserve better than that, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree a lot of what you said, man. Go ahead, Blackie Chan.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with our offense, our offensive line. We were for the longest time we were giving Caleb all day in that backfield to pick apart defenses, and like he would be back there for like 8 seconds at a time, and now he's barely getting 3-4 seconds to be able to breathe and look over the defense, which I mean, yeah, like the second half of our schedule is going to get harder when it comes to defenses, but we shouldn't be having that issue with Arizona and like CU and teams like that. So it's kind of nerve wracking that our offensive line, who's like, sure, they may not have all played together for the longest time, but they all are very tenured and they've seen a lot of ball. It's not like they are rookie or a freshman or anything like that. So it's kind of concerning that they can hardly block for Caleb Williams, our Heisman Trophy winner, and our wide receivers. Like, I don't know if I think there was more or less drop passes because of the receivers. It was just that Caleb wasn't really putting the ball in the right spot because there were some sideline catches that should have been caught by Caleb by the receivers, but they were just inches outside of their reach. So I think Caleb was just ultimately having an off night when it came to passing the ball, but when it came to running the ball, he was doing a good job. So I'll give him a C minus, just barely passing because it's just there was a lot left on that field that easily could have moved this ball or made this game a lot more palatable to watch.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give you guys just a tad bit of pushback, man, as far as the O-line. I mean, I'm not by any means saying that they played their greatest game, their greatest 2 games. They've been pretty bad to mediocre these past couple games. But 3 to 4 seconds is good enough. The rest is on Caleb. He's got to get that ball out. He's been holding that ball a little too long. And we've been saying this for Caleb for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yes, he makes crazy plays, magnificent plays, but I don't feel like he has to all the time. He just holds the ball a little too long.
Yeah.
He's got to get that ball out.
And either that or his receivers are not making it easy for him to get the ball too, because they're not, like what Guns was saying, that they're not making separation, so he has to sit back there for that long.
No, but he doesn't though. He needs to
He should run
and get out of there.
Yeah.
Use his feet. Hey, it's not there. Okay, boom, I got to go, because that's what he's going to have to do at the next level.
Yeah, he's not going to have that time at the next level.
I just watched the NFL game right in person. It's fast.
Yeah.
You don't have time to sit there and you got to make a decision and go with it. I know Caleb mentioned that he doesn't like to run, but you're going to have to, buddy. Because most likely the situation you're going to walk into next year, you're not going to have much of an O-line.
That is very true.
So you better start getting used to it now.
That Raiders O-line is not great, so
Who's slated to have the first pick right now? Still, is it still the Bears?
Now the Bears won. I mean, I don't know
believe so.
what else. I
think it's
guess
still too
they have
early.
another pick with
Yeah,
Carolina.
Panthers, and the Panthers are technically the worst team, so yeah, they still
I
got.
guess so.
Well, then they'll probably
Just
trade their
sacrifice,
first pick
yeah.
away anyway. Then, unless they want to get a lineman or Marvin Harrison.
Very true. In that case, who knows? Caleb might come back. Who knows? But no, that's down the road. Not even thinking about that right now.
Well, one thing, B. Jones, one thing that now that you're talking about Caleb, one thing that I've noticed over the last, I'd say 3 games maybe, when they're doing the option, they've had like 3 different fumbles, and that's concerning. Like they have to get that straightened out because it's going to cost us a game if we keep having that same issue, especially yesterday. I mean, I'll just be quite frank. I was a little nervous at the game yesterday. I was like, all right, let's not fumble it here, guys.
Yeah,
But they got to figure that out. Him, Caleb, and Marshawn Lloyd or Austin Jones, whoever it is, he's got to get that fixed.
And to add on, I mean, that makes sense why they didn't hand the ball off on that 2-point conversion in the third overtime. They ran this weird play that had Caleb had to go and do some Superman stuff. It's like
yep.
just thinking about it this morning. I'm like, why don't we just kind of like maybe hand the ball off? I don't know, but
Yeah, see,
to your
that's the
point,
thing.
right? Maybe they're having concerns as well.
As much as all of us, man, everybody who follows Cardinal and Gold, man, who from fans to alumni to everybody is saying we need to run the ball, but when the O line ain't getting much push, it makes it kind of difficult for Lincoln Riley to even make that decision to run the ball. So and I know I've said it a million times on the show that we need to run the ball more. Yeah, we do, but when the O line ain't doing what they're supposed to do, I can kind of understand why Lincoln Riley is not running the ball as much as we would like. So we have to be able to establish the run first, being able to first. So I don't know, man. We definitely O line, man. We're calling you out right now. We're definitely calling you guys out right now because the past 2 performances have not been great. We feel that you guys are better and definitely capable of better performances, and that's why we're calling you guys out. So yeah, man, please go ahead and make it happen, man. Because these next games, we need you guys more than anybody else, and that's just the truth. You can't do nothing without O line.
Well, looks like you guys are going to see my room at this point because for some reason the background's not working properly.
Well, but yeah, no, I'll still ranting. Don't worry. You didn't mistake that. No, but yeah. So as far as my grade, man, I definitely right along with you guys with the C minus grade, man, because there's a lot that needs to be proven in this next game, not only to us but to themselves.
One thing that I would like to add to the offense situation was like what happened in those last 30 seconds of the game. The quick hitch outside and then the mishandled handoff or whatever they were trying to run. Like, what were they thinking at that time?
Poor
I don't get
execution.
it.
Yep.
Simple as that, man. Just poor execution.
And we could have easily what is called managed the time clock a lot better than we did. Because like we had like a minute and a half left when we were after that Marshawn Lloyd run. Like, how are we mishandling this clock right now?
Yeah, I was telling my buddy at the game the exact same thing. I'm like, why are we wasting like 30 seconds trying to figure out the next play when, give us enough time to at least try 2 or 3 different plays if the first one doesn't work. We're lucky that on one of them, I think, can't recall the exact play, but even at halftime, I think it was prior to halftime, I can't remember who's number 10 right now, the wide receiver.
Hudson.
Yeah, he caught that touchdown, right? But had he not caught that, we would have been forced to go for a field goal or risk the not getting anything prior to half because there was 2 seconds on the clock when he caught that, when we could have easily had a few opportunities had he had Lincoln Riley's managed the time management prior to half, and then same thing at the end of the game. Like a whole bunch of time went off the clock. So it was very poorly managed, I believe, on his end.
Yeah, man. We definitely.
Yeah.
At this point, man, it's where we heading into week 7.
Yep.
Yep.
What do you guys think the offense, the identity of this offense is?
And that's exactly where I was leading to with that. It's
Wow.
week 7.
Let Caleb do his thing. I mean, that's my only
We're
statement
still
right now is make sure that man's healthy and let him do his thing, and hopefully he wins us games because
Yeah. I mean,
concerned.
and to end it, I don't know if we're moving on to the second quarter, but I don't want to end it on a negative note here. But I mean, on the positive end, you guys figured it out. So good job on finding a way to win the game. Like my headline says, just keep winning, guys. That's all we ask. Just keep winning.
Yeah.
We don't care if it's ugly, but just keep winning.
And honestly, I'll end on something positive as well. Like the will effort that Caleb showed was insane. It was literally
You gotta give credit to all of them on that one.
it was Superman-esque with him having doing that QB sneak and having number 2 or whatever draped all over him, and he still carries him and stretches out for that touchdown, and then that weird swinging gate extra what is it called, extra point in that overtime number 3. It's just like stuff that he did in that overtime was insane. Like he literally says, you know, like sit back, I got this.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Listen, you got to give credit to where credit is due. First of all, Arizona played their butts off.
Yes, they did.
Can't take nothing away from them. They're a better team than what their record shows.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, the rest of the nation gets to realize that too.
Hey, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, man, they balled their butt off, man. Justin Flores making plays, making big hits. I was kind of happy to see him. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to be a lost guy for a minute, man. You know, his career didn't turn out exactly how he wanted to, but, you know, it's good to see him doing his thing. Just, I'd rather it not have been against us, but
not gonna lie, our best offense was their defense giving us yards.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't play the most sound discipline game. We had some uncharacteristic penalties again. Didic, I'm calling you out. I am tired of seeing you get penalties when you have the ball in your hand. That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
you're a senior guy. Come on, man. And that's the only reason I'm calling you out, because I know you're better than what you're playing right now.
Yeah, we had some false starts in there, but
which is ridiculous from coming from our center.
Yeah.
I know it happens, but it shouldn't. It's never excusable. So let's go, DD. Come on, man.
Let's see. Tape Apps is like, or Tyler said, how much of the playbook is Lincoln Riley holding back? Is this just stat pattern for Caleb Williams to go back to back with the Heisman?
Boy, it sure seems so, man. We haven't seen much of the tight ends. Running backs don't get what they should. I mean, I still don't understand why we're not running. I mean, come on, man.
I was tweeting out about that.
Come on. They're playing 3 down linemen. I'm sorry, no, they're in what were they in? $1. So, well, they dropped 7.
Yep.
And we still can't run the ball on these guys.
Well, like we can
man up, play some man ball.
We can run the ball. It's just they didn't call the run.
But also the game script didn't help us at first, right? Obviously, second half's a different story, but
what does it sound like? It sounds like when Graham Harrell was the offensive coordinator. We were saying the same thing. Every team we faced dropped 8. And what did we do? Nothing, because we know that Graham Harrell wasn't even going to try to run them out of it.
Yeah, we need to get our running backs into a rhythm, because when we started when Marshawn was getting in a rhythm, he was running that ball like he was averaging like 5 yards or whatever.
And we've been saying this for how long now?
Yeah, we've been saying it, and he even says it too.
Yeah,
and he still doesn't do it.
Maybe maybe Lincoln just knows that he's going to win anyway, and he doesn't care, and he's just going to try to preserve Marshawn for these games that we have coming up. Maybe that was the plan, and maybe he's a genius, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's the best case scenario. I hope it's just not out of his own ignorance or stubbornness that he's not running the ball.
Yeah.
Because we dealt with that already. A stubborn offensive coordinator who didn't want to make changes and to the obvious, to fix what was obvious, man. And you see where he is now.
On a positive note from last night's game,
I'm
glad. I mean, it was very good experience. And time crunch situation, right?
It definitely.
I'm glad it was at home and not on the road. So if we do have to face some type of time crunch and these upcoming games, we have a little bit of more experience going into that game, right? So I think that was a positive that somehow they managed to pull it off, even though we went down 17-0, and they just find a way. So
and that's what good teams do, man. At the end of the day, that's what good teams do. Good teams find a way to win. And
as long as we keep winning, they can't deny us.
Exactly.
So I don't know if it's just me being a SC homer fan here, but I see that as a positive. And I was like, shit, we should have lost yesterday, but somehow we won. So you know what? Let me look at it in a positive light. It's maybe a sign that it's going to be our season somehow.
Destiny.
Yeah, I said the same thing, and then I eventually came back to we shouldn't have never been in that position in the first place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, had we done this, and that, we wouldn't have been in that position. But
let's keep it positive, and we'll move on from there.
It's college football. College football things happened last night.
Hey, we're still not Miami fans.
And
I just want to add the bad things we've mentioned most of the part are correctable. So I think that should be noted as well. It's like we're not just bashing these guys. These are things we're saying, hey, we've seen for a few games. You guys need to continue to work on it. Let's work on it, and let's get better for the second half. Because definitely want to get this on the a winning side. So
absolutely.
And Caleb Williams' worst game is still someone's best game.
Right.
But listen, and I'm not trying to be negative again, but that's what's so frustrating is that we've been saying this for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
I know for myself, I don't like to repeat myself. I'm one of those guys, and I talk low, and I still don't like to repeat myself when people don't hear me. You know what I mean? Well, I hate that, but that's the thing, man. It's like we're in week 7, going into week 7, and we're still saying the same things from week 1.
Yeah, but as long as we keep
we're not seeing what we're seeing.
As long as we win, I'll be okay with it. We can have an ugly win in a championship game.
Yes, but we also have to be realistic.
Yeah, for sure.
The easy part of our schedule is over. There's nothing easy about the remaining games, and we cannot go into these games playing like the way we have.
Yeah.
So criticism is due. We're not criticizing to be criticized. We're giving constructive criticism. It's not like we're not giving what we believe are solutions to these problems. So it's not like we're just criticizing just to be critical.
Yeah, I mean, we're not getting paid $10 million to figure those
exactly, and you guys
figure it out. So
I wish we could.
Coaching staff, that's on you guys to figure it out.
Exactly, like you guys are the experts. We're the untrained eyes, but it seems like we got all the answers, and you guys don't right now. Unfortunately, I hate to say it that way, but that's just the way it seems. It's like these are easy fixes in our eyes, but they're not being fixed. So
we don't know how easy it is.
Man, listen, I'm not gonna say I'm this big expert, but I've been on a few teams where we had some of these issues and they were corrected. So they're fixable, man. But you got to be willing to fix them first.
Yeah.
These are fixable things, but if you're not willing to fix them, then no, it's not going to be fixed, and that's what it seems like is going on because we're having the same issues every week. Personnel, weird play calling. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, coaches. Come on. But yeah, let's move on. So we got second quarter, man, our defensive reaction and grades. Go ahead, Blackie Chan. Go ahead and pop it off.
Defensive reactions. there were plays that looked good, and there were plays that just looked horrific, like a train wreck. There were times where they were in great position, and there were times where they weren't in good position. There was one time I saw Mason Cobb just run up the field. He ran up the field untouched, and then you could just see his head turn, like, oh, there goes Coleman running past me.
Yep.
And they ran student body right, pretty much like what we used to, and they ran it as well as we used to run it. No one was like everyone was getting out of the pulling guards away and the tackles away, and they were running into perfection. Like they
Question.
were.
Why do you think they ran that?
Because they know that when we shift, we push ourselves out of position, and
because Arizona State ran that and they saw it and it's like, oh yeah, circle that.
yeah. Well, Arizona State, yeah, they ran it they ran it out of shotgun, I think, but yeah, they definitely did the sweep properly. Like it was like I was watching a replay of it, and like there was a guard right in front of Coleman the whole way until he got into the secondary to Kalen Bullock. So like this guard hasn't even been touched, and he's just making a route for Coleman to run down the field. So, but other than that, like shout outs to Mason and Prophet Brown for that last play in triple overtime.
Yes, sir.
They ran the same play. They knew that, hey, this has worked all night. And then the one time that we just decided, hey, this is not going to work, we made a stop. They went through everyone and got the stop. I will give our defense an E for effort. They had the effort, but it just wasn't passable, especially going towards the second half. Like it was great that Jacoby Covington had that interception, but there was a lot of times where they were doing pitch and catch like what we would do against other teams, like T-Mac, Cohen. They were, as Jamar Chase would say, they're always open, and they were always open over us. And it just kind of hurt seeing Cohen getting four touchdowns? Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns against us. And it just didn't look like there was much effort on his end to make those touchdowns. But yeah, E for effort at this point.
Yep. Go ahead, Guns.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of start with the bad. I mean, honestly, the bad is that, I'm just getting flashbacks of last year's defense, regardless of the upgraded roster. And, I mainly kind of point that to the scheme. It seems like some of the stuff that we heard over the offseason maybe are not happening. Maybe feel like we're still slanting in terms of the D lineman. Maybe we're not. I'm not an expert, and hopefully someone here can tell me, we're not doing that. But just seems like still we're just not in the right gaps always in terms of everyone, D lineman, linebacker to the DB side. Now, with that said, I mean, we're making plays when we need them, and we're continuing to win. And that's all I'm really expecting the remainder of the year. When we need a play, let's get that play, and let's get that offense on the field and let Caleb do his thing. So, just continue to do what we need to do is to get that play and then get the offense on the field, and let's do it.
Yeah.
Grade?
Oh yeah, grade. I'll give it a D minus since we haven't lost, but I mean that's pretty close to what you said, and even past the letter E. So, yeah.
All right. What about you, Ro?
I'll start with this. Grinch has to go at the end of the year, no matter the outcome of the season. Even if we win the championship, in my opinion, he still needs to go. Like, I don't know what it is about Grinch, but he's just doesn't seem to figure it out. Like, yeah, we look okay on certain plays, but he gives up a lot of big plays. When we need to stop somebody, for the most part, we don't. I'll give the defensive grade of a D. And the reason being that, you know, we didn't stop them yesterday. We ended up, or in my opinion, Caleb won us the game. And yeah, we stopped them in that 2-point conversion at the end of the game, but we could have stopped them way before that and prevented that triple overtime. So in my opinion, it wasn't a passing grade. Obviously, the fronts or the D line, they still did their thing, right? Bear Alexander was being disruptive, but you know, Grinch needs to figure something out, or either have a coaching defensive meeting, do something different, because what they're currently doing, it's not working really. Like we've played like subpar teams the first half, and like you guys mentioned earlier, it's going to be the second half when we are playing these better teams. And if we keep playing like that, as much as I don't want it to happen, we may lose a game or two. So they need to figure something out this week, because at Notre Dame, the fans are going to be loud. Yeah. So, you know, I'm just hoping they figure something out, because it doesn't look pretty
at all. You got a grade? I'm sorry, you gave a grade.
A D. Yeah, I gave them a D because, in my opinion, it wasn't a passing grade. We got to do a lot better than what we showed up yesterday.
Yep. I don't know if Grinch should be admitted into summer school this year. You might have to get expelled, man. But no, listen. Aside from the D line, okay, so D line played good as usual. Linebackers played okay. You know, there's some bright spots there. I mean, listen, we still can't get our personnel right, and it's just obvious at this point. No disrespect to the Curtis family, but Tackett is just not ready to be a starter. Yes, his future is very bright, and he will be. He will definitely be an All-American, in my opinion. I think he's on pace to be an All-American someday. Not yet. It's not going to happen this year, and he just simply should not be starting. I watched this man get run over half the game.
They even pointed it out.
Huh?
They even pointed it out.
Yeah. Yeah, even the broadcast noticed it, you know? But another guy, and I just got to say it, just tell it like it is. No disrespect to the Shaw family, but Bryson Shaw is not a starter. He's a situational guy. Trust me, I love Bryson Shaw in run support. I love the fact that he's willing to come up and bang. But in coverage, nah. It's not. It hasn't been working for us. So what are we doing? Why was he? I'm not gonna say why was he out there. Of course, he deserves minutes. I'll give him that. But it should definitely be situational. With a team like Arizona, who we knew had a great passing offense, the receivers were A1. Take the prime approach on this one, man. Let one of the freshmen get their feet wet, man. Let Christian Pierce get out there, show what he can do. At least try it. You ain't got nothing to lose at this point. It's either that or give up a TD with Bryson Shaw in coverage, or try out a freshman. And if you give up a TD, I mean, it was going to happen anyway if Bryson Shaw was in, right?
At least we could say it's a freshman.
What's that?
I said at least we could say it. At least we could say it's a freshman.
Exactly.
I mean, that would be the excuse. I mean, this guy's a senior, I believe. So I mean, it's very tough.
And it's, come on, man. You're not playing any better than what the freshman would right now. And then we have a freshman who's not playing better than anyone would, but he's still playing somehow. It's ridiculous, man. I don't know what kind of games you guys got going on over there, but the favoritism or whatever the heck it is, man, it's got to stop. There needs to be change ASAP moving forward. Tackett has got enough playing time this year to where he's got enough experience to where you can go ahead and move him a little further down the rotation.
It
And
would
it's
have been
cool.
nice
He
to
got
redshirt him.
enough experience for the year now. You know what I mean? As a starter, to we're comfortable for next year.
Yeah.
Question for you guys, and yeah, T-Fab I think mentioned it. Do you think Grinch, if he was in the skybox, do you think that would help? And that's more for like in-game adjustments. You know, obviously the pre stuff that is what it is. But do you feel like that would be more beneficial for him, and where we can adjust maybe quicker?
Well, obviously he couldn't see that, our
Right.
cornerbacks are playing 10 off.
Right.
And it's 3rd and 2, so maybe he should go in the the skybox, man.
Right.
Which is just outright ridiculous. Why are we 10 yards off the ball on 3rd and 2?
Right.
What sense does that make? I've
Makes no
never
sense.
heard of that. Come on, man. This is basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is what frustrates me. This is basic things like that my untrained eyes can see.
Yeah, and the fact that we put Bryson Shaw on Jacob Cohen when they were in the red zone, I was like,
What?
why are we doing that?
Bro, what are you talking about,
Like
man?
he got beat by like
I'm out.
5 yards
My nigga's tripping.
by Jacob Cohen, and then it's just like at one point they had him on T-Mac. It was like, is that really our best option to have covering those guys? Like T-Mac is what, like 6'3", 6'4". Bryson is 5'9" or so. I know we don't have that really the biggest DBs, but
Was Zion's about 6'2"?
yeah, like
I think that would have helped a little bit, maybe.
that's all they were going to was T-Mac. What T-Mac had over 100 yards. Jacob had what is called 4 touchdowns on us. It's just like, and they passed to the tight end maybe like twice. I don't know. It's just kind of mind-boggling on who the personnel that they decided to put on their best receivers was not the right choice.
Yep. So with that personnel that we've been seeing over the past 2 games, they have given up over 1,000 yards in 2 games. Unacceptable.
This is sad.
That is not Trojan football. That is not the Trojan standard. Defense is our thing. I get it, Riley. You're the offensive guy, but you got to realize, man, we do defense over here, man. And the defense that you're giving us is not acceptable here. I've been kind of hesitant to say this, but I heard a caller say it on a Rick and Tim show last night. He said, "Man, I'm beginning to think that Lincoln Riley is just nothing more than a glorified offensive coordinator." It's kind of it's kind of hard to argue that guy's not right, man. At this point. And even then, man, like some of his game is not showing that he's a great game manager. He's not showing that he can get the right personnel in the field. I mean, calling the right plays at the right times. It's like, wow. I mean, I hate to say it, but he's not proving that guy wrong.
And the thing is that the defense is not helping him out. Defensive coordinator, that is. It's like when he has an off game as an offensive, on the offensive side, like the defense not stepping up to help him and have his back on any given Saturday, right? It's like the only way Lincoln Riley will win is if the offense is hitting on all cylinders and no one could stop us. Defense is not doing him any favors. And in my opinion, he needs to figure that out and realize that Grinch could be a great defensive coordinator for some other school. I don't think USC is that school for him. And he hasn't shown it yet, and he didn't show it while he was at OU. So when is Lincoln Riley going to realize that, Grinch is not the guy that's going to have his back when it matters the most? So
he's not doing him any favors, man, to achieve the goals that he wants to achieve. But Grinch will eventually be a good defensive coordinator. eventually once he
Georgia,
gets ordered his own way.
at Georgia Southern with Todd Helton.
Yeah, hey,
Todd
Mark Isaac, I said the same thing about Hilton.
Todd
Eventually,
Helton's
he
a
will be.
baseball player, by the way.
What's that?
You said Todd Helton.
Or what's his name?
Clay. But
Clay
Todd,
Helton. Yeah.
by the way, Todd Helton was a first base Hall of Famer for the Colorado Rockies. I'll
Yeah.
just throw that out there.
That's how much I don't care about Helton.
Yes.
You know.
Hey,
Like,
Todd Helton was a great baseball player, okay?
Yep, lefty swing.
No
Yes,
disrespect to you, Todd Helton. I meant Clay Helton.
No, but yeah, man, it's the same thing. I said the same thing. Helton's going to be a good coach eventually. He's doing all right over there at Georgia State, but that's more of his level that he's at right now, right? And that's how I feel about Grinch, man.
And I just hope Grinch can figure it out just enough to where we pull off these victories. I don't care if it's ugly, just figure it out to where at least we get the W. I don't care if you have a top 50. We can be ranked 100. I don't care. As long as we win, you get the necessary stop to win the game at this point. Because I've come to the conclusion that we're not going to be a good defense under Grinch. I just hope that.
Hold off on that. That's part of our fourth quarter.
Is it? Okay.
A little bit. So hold off on that.
But yes, my grade is sorry, didn't even get my grade yet. But my grade is pretty consistent with you guys, man. I'm going to give it a D as well. But D for definitely needs to improve ASAP. That's what that D is for. But yeah, so that's gonna bring us into halftime. Guns, what we got, man? We got any news worth talking about? Any recruiting news?
For us, so so some recruits came out and saw the game last night. Isaiah Rubin, I believe that's the name, DB 2024 cornerback that's been predicted to us, was at the game, so that's a good sign. We had some 2025 and 2026 recruits. We had Jonte Gilbert, former Ohio State commit in Georgia. He's a safety DB guy, and so he came out and loved it. So we're targeting him as for the 2025 class. We should hear something soon for Jalen Harvey. Haven't seen any predictions or anything, but our boy SS Scott Schrader, he was out there and talked to him and said that he's got a team and or a college and he'll commit soon. So that's really all I got right now in terms of recruiting.
Did that cornerback commit to Oregon or Miami?
Yeah, Oregon just now. Yeah.
So real quick, what was that fight on that Lincoln Riley posted on Sunday?
So no one really knows or hasn't said. Maybe they're being told not to say in terms of media. But
do you think that
SS said it? Yeah, SS said it wasn't Harvey. So I'm assuming it's Ruben, the DB, the high school kid.
And I was at the game, as I mentioned earlier. Brandon Baker was there, the Texas commit out of Mater Dei. Had to give him the horns down just because he was out there. But I don't mind seeing him there. I mean, like I say, he may be a portal guy in a couple of years. So it just shows that the staff is not giving up on recruits that are committed to another school. So it was good to see him out there.
Yeah, we definitely need to reestablish that Mater Dei pipeline if it's repairable at this point.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, we're going to be getting a lot of guys that we're going after right now. They're going to be coming back to us in the portal eventually.
Okay.
For the simple fact that they know that the real NIL is better here.
True.
But they want that immediate thing right now. So they're going to commit to these schools, probably be there for a year because they get that immediate money. Then they're going to hop right back in the portal and try to find their way back to Los Angeles. That's my
hope for that.
The fact that I can really see that. I mean, it's just what it is, man. Nobody does any NIL like SC does. These kids know that. They see it right in front of their faces. They see these national ads. Mario Williams' National Powerade ad and Caleb's all over the place with the ads and things like that in that nature. I don't see much of any national ads from too many other schools that are leading in NIL. You know, or they're leading in NIL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
The only thing about the some of these players though, like you're not going to see like offensive line, defensive line really on those kind of banners. I don't think, or unless I'm wrong on that. But I've seen Caleb Williams. Like I was going down the elevator, or not the elevator, escalators in DIA, and I I got a picture of Caleb Williams on an American whatever airline he's doing NIL with. I was like, huh, that's interesting.
most like United, yeah.
United, okay, yeah.
Is United or American that the
One
field
of those. I just
Yeah,
took a
one of
picture of
those
it
two.
real quick.
Yeah, United.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying, man. We're gonna be okay eventually. I mean, we're not gonna have the best
Oh,
high
you're
school
frozen.
recruiting class, but we'll be fine out of the portal. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if the way things are going on the defensive side of the ball, man. We're gonna lose a lot as well if we can't get these personnel decisions right,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be very unfortunate because we have a lot of talent that may be playing elsewhere next year if we don't, things don't go right the second half of the season. So,
B Jones, your camera ended up freezing. Just FY.
well, I made it a lot further. At least I made it to the start of the third.
Yeah, always the third, fourth.
Yep,
Man.
that's the cue right there, man. That lets you know that where we are in the show. We're oh, there we go. Hey, look, we're back a little sooner
Hey.
before as well. Yeah, them Ducks, man. Them StreamYard. But
Right?
all right, let's get it, man. Let's get back into this third quarter. So, play of the game and MVP of the game. Go ahead, Blackie Chan.
At this point, it has to be Caleb Williams. Without him, without those 3 rushing touchdowns, we don't win this game. We don't win this game without Caleb Williams, and that's a fact. And the play of the game, my favorite play of the game was Caleb Williams carrying that defensive line across, or that either linebacker or DB reaching out over the line. That was probably the most effort I've ever seen one single player doing in any games in the past as of lately, because he just had him on his back. He refused to say die. He just stretched out and made it for us. And was that a third down? I can't remember, or fourth down. But that was an amazing effort by Caleb, and
Absolutely.
it'll, like in his second Heisman winning video that he'll probably have, they'll be showing clips from this game, because it was definitely that effort that could win him the Heisman again.
Yeah, that's definitely going on his Heisman highlight reel. That's for sure. Go ahead, Guns.
Yeah, so I mean MVP has to be Caleb. I mean, like Chance said, without him, we'd probably lose this game most likely. So, yeah, I got to give him the MVP. Play of the game. I kind of have to agree with one of the commenters. I think it was TFAV. I did like the Bullock knockdown in the end zone. I think it was in overtime.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I have to bring that up for the play of the game.
Okay.
That was a real good one, actually, because he was kind of out of that play for a brief second.
Yep. He looked like the All-American that he is, man. That was
good effort. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right.
Actually, yeah. If he doesn't make that, we lose.
Yeah. That was definitely a critical play, man. Go ahead, Raul.
Just like Blackie Chan and Gunner said, it has to be Caleb Williams. That's the reason we won yesterday. Defensive and offensive play calling, it's not great. And Caleb Williams had to scramble and adjust throughout the game. So I think he stepped up and put himself on top, like in a different tier level. He was already in a different tier level than the other, um, I guess, candidates running for Heisman. I think this past game kind of elevated him to a different tier just because he did it all for us yesterday. And I guess the play of the game, I'll have to go with the triple overtime run. He could have easily stepped out and given up and not get in there, and he somehow managed to sneak in and stay in bounds and reach for the pylon, which was huge. I was there, and the whole crowd went crazy at that point, and we were just hoping and praying that fucking Grinch somehow figures out for one time, and luckily he did.
All right. Yep, player of the game. Obviously, I'm right there with you guys as far as Caleb. Caleb willed us to victory, man. That's for sure. He never looked rattled the whole time.
No, he did not.
Even from the first quarter, he just like, yeah, that's cool. They up 17, but we're still gonna win. He never looked rattled. It looked a little frustrated at times, of course, but that's natural. But you could tell in his face that there was no doubt that we were still gonna win that game somehow. And he willed us to it. He made sure we did. So shout out to Caleb, man. And actually, shout out to the whole team, man, for keeping up that fight. That's one positive that we can say about this team, man. They showed a lot of fight.
They literally were the definition of fight on at that point.
Exactly. And that's always appreciated.
Like when we missed that kick to end regulation, you just see Caleb just like, okay, time to go back to work.
Yep.
Like he didn't show any emotion. He was like, okay, back to work. Let's go out there and win it.
Yeah, Caleb had his Tim Duncan face on, man.
I'm sorry, but I'm Tim Duncan just
saying, man. He just didn't show any emotion, man. That's how me. But yeah, no. Defensive wise, man, that last stop, man, was just that was everything, man. That shout out to Prophet Brown and Mason Cobb, man. They sealed the deal on that one, and at the end of the day, we're 6-0. So,
do we know what happened with why? What was it? Did he take over for CRW, or did he take over for Sayer? Why we had Prophet in?
I'm not even sure who he was in for at that point, but
or Jacoby.
Glad he did what he did.
Yeah, me neither. Seems like we went through everyone.
Yeah,
I don't know who it was, but I think it was Jacoby that might have gotten injured during a part of the game.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was a bad injury, but at least they took him out. From what I remember, Jacoby's number 14, right?
Yeah.
So unless it's a different number 14, but I want to say it was him.
No, it's definitely Covington.
And so hopefully it's not a bad injury. So
yeah, man, it's definitely something. It's definitely something to watch going into this week.
Yeah, and then also on the topic of injuries, Gentry, I think he might be in concussion protocol. He wasn't looking good towards the end of a play.
He was definitely cloudy in his head. It looked like his eyes were just kind of glazed over a little bit from when he was walking to the sidelines, and you could see his face. I was like, I've seen that face before.
I also saw on Twitter, started to jump in, that Cobb had his rib went out of place.
Oh yeah, he popped it back in.
Oh my goodness, dude!
Maybe
what a G, dude! What a G.
Yeah, you can definitely get some G points for that, man.
Yeah, and shout outs to Shane Lee. Like he made a pretty big stop in there.
Absolutely, man.
He made a stop on Coleman. I was like, there's the Shane Lee that we needed to see.
What have I been saying?
And Shane Lee actually he did make a stop on a pass across the field against
T-Mac. He did. He did. I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, I've been calling for it for all season, man. Running teams, we need Shane Lee in there. He's good he's a run stopper. That's his style of play.
Yeah.
So hopefully the staff gets to see that. I mean, hopefully they see that, especially, going into this next game where we got Audric Estime, and Shane Lee played against him well last season, man. So
Estime he didn't really have the greatest game this last game, but he's the one that makes me nervous when it comes to Notre Dame. But we'll get into that later in the week.
I'm really not, man. I'm really not that nervous about it.
I don't know. He could take over a game.
Yeah, I give my reasons. I'll save my reasons for the pregame, for the preview. But but yeah, man, I'm feeling kind of confident, man. Not even kind of. I'm feeling pretty confident going into.
Well, Sam Hartman did throw 3 interceptions that game too.
Well, like I said, man, he's good, not great. But everybody has a bad game. So
from TAFAF here, do you guys know what's going on with Zacharias? Is he injured?
I've heard rumor that there's disciplinary action. I heard that it could be injury. Everyone's all over the place. I'm hearing a little bit of everything, man. But so I don't have a definite answer for you, T-Phil. I'm sorry, but they keep those things very tight-lipped. But
yeah, I feel like it's an injury, kind of like what Tyler's saying.
An ankle injury.
I feel like if it was disciplinary, it's interesting they're letting them do pregame.
Yeah, rumors.
Yeah.
No, there goes.
Yeah, pregame and being on the sideline.
Right, very interesting. So
yeah,
because normally disciplinary, they don't have any interaction with the team, right?
Especially if you travel. Like last week, he didn't play against Colorado, so.
And he traveled and he dressed at one point and then came back out in street clothes.
Right.
But all right.
I'm just hoping it's not that big of a.
Right.
I mean, like it's a high ankle sprain or something where it keeps him out for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, being that he was warming up, I don't think it was a high ankle sprain. If it was a high, he wouldn't even be walking around the field much. He'd be in a boot.
Yeah.
So I think he may be coming back this week. If not, pretty soon.
We definitely could use him this week, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd definitely take the top off that. Notre Dame's defense is not very fast. My bad. I'll save it for the preview. Make sure you guys tune into the preview, man. But feeling good about this one, despite our troubles.
Should we go into the fourth quarter now?
Yes, sir. All right.
Expectations changed for this team.
Whew. I think everyone has plenty to say on this one, man. So go ahead, pop it up, Blackie Chan.
Well, just by looking at Raul, we already know what his is. But expectations is to have my expectations was to have a top 40 defense, top 40, top 50, and let's just face it, we know that's not going to happen right now. I just want to see improvement. I don't want to see regression from here on out. I would like to see improvement. It doesn't have to be like top 10 defense from here on out, but I just want to see more stops, just a few extra series that we can give our offense at this point when it comes to our defense. And be more what is it called? Realistic for Grinch when it comes to your personnel. We all know it, we see it, we've voiced it for the past few weeks already. We just need transparency from what's going on. I know we're not going to get it, but I don't know. My expectations have definitely drastically changed when it came to how I thought our defense was going to be. I thought we were going to be a top defense in the Pac-12. Honestly, I don't know if we are the best team in the Pac-12 right now, but if we just keep winning, then we will. There's no doubt that we technically are the best team. We just need to. It doesn't matter if it's ugly, as long as it's a win, it's a win. So, I just couldn't really put my words together for this one, but.
For sure, what you're saying, man. Now that we're out of the mediocre half of our schedule, the style points don't matter. If we walk out of these next games with W's, we're fine.
Yeah.
But we have to walk out of these next games with W's, all of them, because of how bad we looked over the past couple of games. But yeah, go ahead, Guns.
Yeah, I mean, so short answer, yes. I mean, definitely after the first 6 games, definitely has changed going into the second half. Given what we anticipated, expected, and heard from all off season, all fall camp, spring camp about this defense, hearing great things. We hire a defensive analyst. We hear that Lincoln's going to be, more of involved, and it just again kind of seems like the same show from last year in terms of what's going on. So um, now that is again as of today. Obviously we can improve, and going into this weekend, and maybe that changes, and maybe my expectations go back to original, but. Just need to see improvement, like Chan said, on the defensive side. We do have the people, I believe. Um, we just need to get the correct personnel out there and make those plays to happen. So, yeah.
Bro.
My expectations is that Lincoln Riley is going to figure it out on the offensive side. I think that's our only hope to potentially win the championship this year. Obviously, the confidence level in obtaining that has drastically dropped based on how we've looked these last couple of weeks. But I still think they can figure it out. We got Caleb Williams. We have the personnel to make it happen. It's just coaching needs to, realize the fixable things and just applying it. And I think we can get there. Don't expect our defense to be top 40, top 50, but we don't need our defense to be top 40, top 50. No, we just need them to be good enough if our offense is clicking. And if Grinch could just figure it out for a couple drives, that's all we can ask for at this point. And just have the offensive do its thing and lead us to victory. Just because I don't have a lot of faith in Grinch. I've given him plenty of time. I think the fans have given him plenty of time as well. And my stance stands where I think he needs to go at the end of the season, regardless of the outcome of the season. Even if we finish strong, I still think he needs to go. But I'm not expecting anything less but a championship. At least that's what I'm rooting for. So we'll see what happens.
As far as have my expectations changed, they've dwindled a little bit. I'll say that, just because we've seen before the season started. We've seen what we looked at the roster and we're like, oh yeah, how do you not? This defense should be dominant, and that's quite the opposite of what we've been getting. I mean, aside from the defensive line has been very dominant at times, but we look at the linebackers. We're like, okay, well, against this team, these two guys will be playing who are very good at this, that fits their scheme, can combat their scheme. But we've been seeing the same guys, not much rotation, and it's been hurting us at times. And it's sad that, the coaches are not figuring it out. Everyone else around you is figuring it out. That's why you're getting the questions from the media that you're getting regarding that. I'll just say this, man. The media they tell questions, not really ask them sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to give coaches the answers sometimes by the questions that they're asking. Smart coaches kind of catch on to that kind of stuff. Anyone know what I mean by that?
They're kind of hinting towards
they're like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. Like, why aren't you guys seeing this? But coaches get so defensive and so stubborn sometimes that they just want to combat what the media member is saying. And it's like, man, you guys aren't really listening to what's being asked, man. But yeah, man, my expectations have definitely dwindled a little bit because of that. Based on how we've been playing and the coach's unwillingness to make these changes, I don't know if we're a natty team right now, man. In fact, I do know that we're not a natty team right now. And earlier, my expectations were definitely natty. I was looking at tickets to Houston. You guys already know. I'm like, hey, what's wrong with you guys? Why aren't you looking at tickets? But now it's like, okay, now I understand why you guys weren't so quick to look at these Houston tickets, man. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah, things got to happen like this week, like yesterday, like 20 minutes ago. Things got to happen like fast with this defense, man, as far as some change. Because our secondary is looking atrocious, man. And it's kind of sad being that, we have good coaches on our staff, but they're just not making the right decisions. And I don't understand why.
Or they're just not being heard.
That is what is most likely is happening, because we do know that was the case last year.
And if that's still the case, they need to hash it out. Have a coaching meeting this week, figure it out, because I still think we have a championship roster.
Exactly.
We definitely do.
Yeah, and at this point, you're doing the kids a disservice, man. You're not helping the kids in any way.
Yeah. You're not, like, if there is that favoritism going on right now, we're not even helping Tack it out.
But,
the more that we play him when he's not performing properly, he's going to get more discouraged in himself.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really helping his confidence.
Yeah, his confidence is not going to be there. And I'm sure he probably sees people talking about him too.
Exactly. That's why I've been kind of hesitant to say a lot of things, regarding Tech, just because he's so young, and
actually, isn't he like 19?
Have confidence, huh?
Isn't he like 19 or he's old for his class, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's still young. Still young.
Yeah, that is true.
And you want him to. You got to have the utmost confidence playing that position. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
but it's like, man, the coaches are putting him in that position. You know what I mean? Not putting him in a position to succeed because he's not ready to succeed at that position quite yet.
What is Grinch's like specialty when it comes to like positions? Is it linebackers?
I think it's safeties or some type of.
Safeties. Yeah,
safeties.
Ironically, our secondary is played the poorest out of all positions.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what is Grinch's specialty? I was gonna say, let the other team score. I'm sorry, Grinch, but you got to figure your shit out.
Come on,
it's like, man, I give you a hard time, Grinch, but at the end of the day, I'm rooting for you to figure it out. So just prove us all wrong and get us to the promised land.
Yeah, I'm not going to be one of those people who are like actively like hoping that we fail so he gets fired. I want our team to succeed, and we have all the tools and pieces to do it. It's just like he needs to see the errors. Like, I don't know if he's seeing the errors. I think it has like blind spot mirrors going, or he's blinders on that. He'll see the good plays and just focus on those and not the negatives, which the negatives you need to focus on so you can correct those.
It's like, Grinch, don't you have head coaching aspirations? Like, step it up, man. Like, step up this next second half. Get a coaching gig this upcoming season, man. Like a head coach. Step it up.
Oh, man, you got to have personal expectations for yourself, personal goals for yourself, your own career.
Yeah, like, I still have expectations that we will be a national championship team. I just don't know if I just feel like the coaching staff is just kind of okay with our defense being like this.
Exactly, which is very bothering.
Like there's a lot of issues with it, but it's just they need to recognize it and acknowledge it that there's issues with it. And once you acknowledge it, then there's no going back. Then you have to focus on fixing those. But by ignoring it, you're not helping by fixing it.
And I'm sure they probably acknowledge it off camera, but there's got to be a point where you got to acknowledge it on like publicly, because like us fans, you'd say that crap. It's like, come on, like what are you not seeing that us fans are not seeing? Like, defense played terrible, in my opinion, yesterday, and a lot of the fans would agree with that. And Lincoln Riley stating that, he thinks we played good or great or something. I don't know what he said, but he pretty much needs to acknowledge it publicly as well and say, you know what, guys, we didn't play to expectations. We definitely need to, correct those mistakes. If not, it's going to end up costing us in the season. And I think it will go a long way.
Exactly. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt, but we got some breaking news via Tyler server. It says Elijah Rushing has just decommitted from Zona. So what exactly does that mean?
But then USC priority says going to Oregon.
Okay, well, thanks to USC priority. You just killed that for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say either them or Tennessee. So or Notre Dame, but you never know.
But yeah,
probably not Notre Dame. Obviously, after their 2 losses, but
gotcha.
And then,
he's projected to flip to Oregon,
which is fine. Let him go to Oregon as long as we win. It's all that matters, right? We're still 6-0. So, like I tell you guys, it hasn't been a pretty 6-0, but at the end of the day, we're still undefeated. We still got a chance to, get to the Natty if we improve each week. So,
yeah,
you got to take it week by week.
11-11, man. That's when all that can change, right?
Can't wait.
That's
should we move on?
Yep, move on. All right, overtime. AP poll reactions, as you guys know by now, if you haven't seen it, we did, of course, drop 1 spot because we're the only team that drops after a win. We are now number 10 in the nation, from number 9 to number 10. Go ahead and give me you guys a reaction on that, Black Chan. What you got?
At least Alabama hasn't jumped us yet. I have a feeling even if we beat Notre Dame, we'll still drop to 11. We'll go undefeated and we'll still be we'll be at the top 20 at that point. But I'm not surprised we dropped with how poorly we played. But I think people need to realize that Jeb Fish is definitely putting this team in, pointing it in the right direction. What's his name? Fafita. He's definitely their future. Oh, and I wanted to say this to B. Jones. I've officially committed to Fafita.
Fafita. Yeah. Hey, listen. Dolores not getting that spot back. I'm telling you guys that right now.
No, Fafita is running that offense really well.
He is, man. I told you, he gives them the best chance to win.
And plus he has that connection with T-Mac.
Exactly.
So, and they looked like they were firing on all cylinders. Like he was getting on the ball and putting it in the right spots, except for that 1 interception. But yeah, what did Texas drop to? What they dropped to 8?
9, I think.
9. Yeah, we're right in between Texas and Bama right now. So
I mean, I get it. They beat Alabama, so they can't really put Alabama ahead of them, and we look bad when it comes to our defense, and it would be kind of hard to pick or their defense. I still think is better than our defense, and Oklahoma probably has the easiest path now to the playoffs, unless they play who. I don't know.
They still got to play. They still got. I think they might still face Texas in the
championship. Okay, I didn't know how their program or their
they got championship game.
Okay, so hey, maybe there could be some revenge on that, but yeah, that was a good game on that, and I still think that we can beat a lot of these teams though. As long as our offense is firing on all cylinders, we can score them. Ohio State, Penn State, Florida State. I'm not really threatened by Florida State at this point. Georgia actually looked like a team this weekend. What's his name? Their quarterback. He was 10 of 10 for a while, and he was slinging it around. So good for them. I don't know. I really don't know who's the number 1 team. I guess it's still Georgia. And Michigan's number 2, but other than that, I'm not really too bothered by the the rankings. So
Yeah, CFP rankings come out when next week.
really next week.
Yeah, I think right. Is that the next week? If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Yeah,
That's the one that really matters. But
exactly.
I'm really nervous on those.
Well, listen,
Yeah,
if we
I
handle our
mean,
business this week, we'll be right up there where we need to
But
be.
where's Notre Dame ranked at right now?
I think they're 22nd.
21, right?
20. I think
21
I
or
saw
something like
somewhere in the 20s, though, for sure.
Yeah, 21.
21.
Honestly, I don't know if they should even be ranked that high, but
Hey, we'll take it for now.
yeah, it's a top
That's like
25 team for us to beat. So
Exactly. All right. So, Guns, what you got?
I mean, from starters, I just AP polls got to do better in terms of actually putting the correct opponents. They're telling us we played Colorado and we played Arizona, so I mean that's just the dink right there for
In
them.
other words, they were asleep. They weren't watching.
Right, but yeah, I mean other than that, I mean I'm not surprised. Again, we went down. We haven't looked like a top 9 team. You could make an argument top 10 team potentially. So. Because of the defense, but like to see Louisville jump up. That's good to see them. Obviously, they beat Notre Dame. Washington State dropped. They should have had that game, but UCLA's defense is good. And then they had to make sure that Kentucky was still at the 24 spot. And Miami is actually still gets a spot, which is interesting.
Very.
And going back to my issue at the beginning, according to this, Temple was their last game and they won that game, but then they dropped 8 spots. So, I mean, AP poll, man, you just got to get it together. Make sure the results are correct in terms of the opponents, and we can actually look at this correctly. So,
Yeah, at least let us think that you care.
exactly right, exactly.
yeah, act like you matter because they really don't matter.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like, what's the point of having AP and coaches at this point when we know they don't matter?
That's tough.
Just
I mean,
let
it's
you
even
understand.
they have to submit it so early. Like I think,
Yeah.
It's a glorified list.
I think Reese Davis was kind of talking about this on Pat McAfee show. He has to submit it by noon, which I think is Eastern time. So like any West Coast voters, that's probably 9 a.m. obviously for them. So it's just like they're probably doing their votes before they go to bed and just get them sent out.
Right. That explains a lot, actually. All right, Raul, what you think, man?
I think ranking wise, they make sense. Yeah, like we've been giving them crap for bringing us ranking us down a spot or two over these last few weeks, but they're not wrong. I mean, we've been playing like crap. At least that's what it looks like. I mean, Colorado might be an actual good team. Maybe Arizona State's a good team, and Arizona State might be a good team. Who knows how the season ends up for them? But if we weren't 6-0, would you guys say we're top that we would even be in the top 20? Like deserve to be in the top 20?
We'd be on the cusp of not being in the top 25, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, there's nothing better than having a second or third chances, right? So, we're still undefeated. We're 6-0. That's how I'm gonna see things, right? Just stay positive. Have hope that the team is gonna figure it out. Until we lose, that's when potentially our aspirations of going to the championship game or college football playoffs, for that matter, could potentially, hit a major roadblock. But if we keep winning, that's all that matters. So that's all I got to say to fans. Don't focus too much on the rankings. If we win, things are going to line up, and we'll be in the college football playoffs. But the coaches have to figure it out first. Don't worry about the rankings. We got too many things to worry about than worrying about these rankings. We got to focus on our team and our team only, not overlook a certain opponent. I think that could have potentially been the case this week, where I don't think we've talked about it, where we potentially be looking ahead for Notre Dame. It's a huge rivalry game on the road, that might be the reason why we played like crap yesterday.
And vice versa for them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we pulled it off. We got the victory. We haven't lost yet. So let's stay positive. We still have a chance to make it. So
Yeah. At this point, I'll take any ugly win. Like ugly win against Washington, ugly win against Oregon. I'll take any of that. Like I'm just going to be more focused on the wins because this should have been our easy half of the season, and it was halfway that. But now the back half hardest part of our schedule and a win at this point. Like I know people are still going to complain if we give up like 500 yards, but hey, if we're giving up 500 yards to Washington and Oregon, but we're still winning, it's a win. Like as long as we are undefeated, then I mean, right now the rest of like I don't know what. Here's a question for you guys: if Georgia, Michigan, say Michigan probably beats Ohio State and Penn State, and Florida State and Oklahoma both go undefeated, that along with us, that leaves 5 teams. Who do you pick to go into the playoffs?
Let's see, and that's if we find ourselves into a situation like that, that's when they start looking at, okay, how did they look against the earlier half of their schedule? They start comparing game to game, and we have not looked good, and that's where it hurt us.
Or do you look at the teams that we played?
Exactly.
Because
It's
like
been a light schedule up to this point.
Florida State's, I don't get why people are so high on LSU right now. LSU's win is not that impressive to me at this point still.
True.
But everyone's still clamoring for Jaden Daniels to be Heisman. Like, sure, he willed his team to win, but like in their losses, he still wasn't really a factor.
That's only because he's the
LSU.
best quarterback in the SEC.
Yeah.
And the SEC is just,
Carson Beck is getting better. He's getting better.
Mhm.
He's not Stetson Bennett better, but he's getting there. Like he's tossing that ball around, but I don't know. Like I still think we edge out Oklahoma maybe because who have they played besides Texas?
Yeah, and they're not going to play anybody up until they play Texas again.
Until they play Texas again, because Kansas State lost. Kansas State is not like what they were. TCU is not really a notable team. Kansas, no, not anymore.
And then regarding OU guys, it's we still got 6 games left to play, so they can easily lose another game. I know on paper it looks like they have an easy schedule and they're gonna make it out, but at the end of the day they can end up losing versus a Kansas State or Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of these OU fans came into our community, like over here celebrating. It's like, guys, it's we're 6-0. You guys are 6-0. Still got a whole second half of the season to play. It's like, stop celebrating.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one prediction that I got right last week.
So,
well, you picked Oklahoma to win?
Yeah, I picked Oklahoma fans to come into our community.
oh yeah.
The only one I heard actually predict Oklahoma winning this past weekend was Jaywalk, man. So shout out to Jaywalk. He actually did get that right. I can't believe he jinxed his boy Sark like that, but he knew what he was talking about, man. He got that one right.
What do you think of the AP poll, B. Jones?
So speaking of Oklahoma, it's interesting that they jumped 7 spots after that win. I mean, it's a top 10 win, but what's interesting is for me, I want to see if either Oregon or Washington is going to be afforded that same luxury to jump so favorably in the polls next week after one of them get a top 10 win. Because obviously one of them is going to have to lose, right?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. Like next to our game against Notre Dame, I'm definitely going to be eyeing that game. And what time do we play?
Next week.
Let's see. We play at 6:30, or at least PS or Central Standard Time, so
I
4:30.
think it's like
Your
4:30
time.
or so.
4:30. Okay.
What time does Washington and Oregon play? They play at
So yeah,
It's a
12:30.
12:30 game.
12:30.
Yes, we would catch that one
Yeah,
before again.
12:30.
So we will know the victor of that one leading into
Yeah, it's 12:30.
a Notre Dame game.
It's at Washington, and Washington's a 3-point favorite.
Yep. Big rivalry game.
Can't wait to kind of discuss that this
Can't wait.
Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So anybody got any questions for us in the chat? You guys got chat. This is your
Yeah,
opportunity.
man, we'll see. It's definitely gonna be an exciting. I was
You
just gonna
cut out just a
say,
little bit.
sorry guys. I think I'm having Wi-Fi issues. I'm delayed, but if you guys can hear me, I was just gonna say, going back to Blackie Chan's PC first half. I guess the only positive from that is that we didn't get any injuries, and it's gonna prepare us for the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as we know, no major injuries.
Can you guys hear me?
Hopefully, yeah, we can hear you just fine.
I think that's just a delay.
Okay, cool. I was having trouble with my Wi-Fi. Yeah, but I was gonna say the first half it was supposed to be our EC thing. Luckily, knock on wood, we haven't had any major injuries, which is good, right? That's the only concern with playing major minutes in the first half during the half. But being that it was difficult, I think it's gonna better prepare us for this next second half. I think we're probably gonna be the team out of all the Pac-12 teams that have played the most intense games throughout the first 6 games. So I think it'll help us out on the second half. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's definitely some positives to take away from this. We got 10 XP points from that game last night. We got some experience. We showed some fight. So
Yeah, TAFAF has a question for you, V. Jones.
Trojans in today's Rams game. Any Trojans in today's game?
Well, you ran into
Well, yeah, we definitely ran into Bear on the way in. That was pretty cool. Him and Tony Jones. Shout out to y'all. But let's see, any Trojans? No, I don't think we have very many Trojans. On the Rams roster, do we?
No.
I think the only one we had was Robert Woods, which he got traded last year. So.
Tennessee, right?
He's not here in Tennessee anymore. He's at
Texans now.
Yeah. He's where?
He's at
with
Houston.
The Houston Texans.
That's right. My apologies. Yeah, no, none that come to mind. We had one that was very close to being a Trojan, and that's Puka Nacua. But he's been balling. Gotta give him his props.
Yep. You know what was weird? I actually had a dream about him. I asked him why didn't he come to USC, and I think in my dream he's like the communication between him and the offensive staff wasn't the greatest. I wonder if that would stand true with him.
With who?
Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua.
Oh, Puka Nacua. Okay.
Yeah, it was the most random thing. I was like, so I think I was at a Rams game or something like that, and I was like trying to get his signature or something like that.
Okay.
But I know we're in overtime. We're about to end it, guys. But one last thing I do want to mention before we end it. Shout out to the fans that showed up to the game. It wasn't a full house, but it was a good crowd. We were competing against the Dodgers playoff game. And I think they had a Kings game too or something like that at LA Live at Staples. I refuse to call it crypto. But yeah, I mean, the fans showed up. They were, in my opinion, they were loud throughout the game, even though, things didn't go up according to plan. So shout out to the fans. Keep showing up to the Coliseum and, get loud out there. Make it definitely make it difficult for the opponents. Definitely don't want to see any Arizona fans being louder than us or anything like that, or Washington. Step up. These upcoming games, we're still 6-0, so I know that things look like they might be falling apart, but at the end of the day, we're 6-0. They can turn it around. So
Yeah.
let's pack up Collie.
Yeah. Also, another shout out to Bronny James and O'Shea Jackson being there.
Absolutely, man. Hey, we know we see a lot of celebrities lately on the CU hype train, man. But just remember who did it first and who does it the best.
Yeah.
We get A-listers over here, man. So know that. But anybody got anything else, man? Before we wrap this up,
Nope.
last call for questions in the chat. All right, well, guys, make sure you matter of fact, shout out to USC Priority. I did see you down the chat earlier, man. Shout out to him. Make sure you guys, if you're watching, make sure you guys give him a follow on Instagram at USC Priority. And make sure you follow Blackie Chan at Blackie Chan Gaming on Twitch. Make sure you follow our rule. If you see him out in town, just follow him around. Just don't know him. But aside from that, you can always follow me on Instagram. You can always ask us questions there. I'll be willing to answer, maybe even go a little more in depth to what I can't say here. But
yeah, then don't forget to hit subscribe to the channel, and then leave your comments on the comment section.
Yes, sir. Hey, listen, this is what you do right now, right? You right there. Hit that like button, right? Hit that share button. You're gonna send it to 5 of your friends, right? All right. Then you're gonna hit that subscribe button, and then you're gonna make sure that bell's on, all right? So you know when we're live next time. All right, cool. Now that we got that out the way, make sure you're following Gunnar Atterbury as well, man. At Views from the Stands on Spotify. Go ahead and give him go ahead and check him out, guys. But so after you're done with that like, share, and subscribe, go ahead and give us a fight on, and we're out of here, all right? So fight on.